Day one of the DELULU December manifestation exercise is all about manifesting your next level business success and really embodying and getting clear and honest about what was that number that you want to end the year off with for your business to be profitable at the end of 2024. And I really want to emphasize the fact that it's really about the internal versus the external. If you're in the coaching mentorship space like I am, you might have already seen number goals floating around and people sharing income reports and people sharing where they feel really called to hit, what numbers they feel called to hit within their business. And while this is so powerful and it's really insightful for us to see what is possible within the coaching and mentorship space and with just being an online business owner, I want to stress to you that when you are manifesting your profitable business, when you're manifesting a specific money goal or a range within your money goal, it's so important that that goal speaks to you internally. What happens for a lot of you is that you are trying to manifest based on what you think you should be calling into your business. And then when you don't hit that number, there's a lot of feeling of defeat and failure that happens. And I want to remind you that you are not competing with the industry. You're not competing with other female entrepreneurs or other coaches in this space. You are only competing with yourself. And the only way for you to be able to hit the number that you truly, truly feel called to hit is by feeling into that number based on what you internally want. And I've been talking about this a lot as we are transitioning from an abundant year, 2024, into leadership, 2025. Leadership, especially self-leadership, is really about internally setting the goals, the money goals, the lifestyle goals, the business goals that you internally want to hit. And a lot of times what happens is when we set these goals that are just floating around based on the industry that we're in, I'm using coaching industry as an example because that's the industry I'm in, but this could be in so many different markets. But when we're setting these goals based on what we're seeing externally, and we're feeling a lot of resistance and overwhelm and disappointment when we don't hit those numbers, it's because we're basing these numbers on what other people have set for themselves based on their beliefs, their experiences, their identity as a business owner. And this is why it might not be working for you. And so when you're setting your goal for the end of 2024, that dreamy, ideal, profitable number that's going to take your business to next level success, it has to be internally. And how you know the difference is if the number is too much in your mind, and I know this can be kind of counterintuitive because as business owners, we are very much in the practical when it comes to a lot of the strategies and things that we're working within our business. And so you set these practical, kind of rational goals, but you're so much in your mind. And you might be feeling a lot of overwhelm with whatever the number is that you've picked. A lot of overthinking, a lot of how would I even be able to do this? But the number goal that you're setting for yourself has to be more of a internal calling, like a knowing of this number, not what you think in your mind you should be hitting, but what you know internally that you should be hitting. And so, for example, using the coaching space again, there's a lot of numbers thrown around like 10K months, 100K months, shifting from 6 figures to 7 figures. And while all these numbers sound amazing, you really have to ask yourself, how do these numbers make you feel? Is it more of a mental game for you, or is it more of a knowing? And if it's more of a knowing, then amazing. Set those goals. Work towards taking the aligned action. Be open to receiving the next steps on what you need to do to bring it into your life. But if it feels more of a mental game where you're really overthinking and like I said, you're just really in your head about it, you really need to check in with yourself on, is this a number you feel like or you think you should be hitting based on what others are saying, or is it internally what you really want? And I don't really see a lot of other people honestly talking about manifestation from this space, from a space of manifesting your true internal desires versus externally what other people want you to manifest. And there really is a difference. And a lot of times when we've been trying to hit, especially a money goal or a next level goal within our business for a really long time, and it just doesn't seem like it's working, we have to really get honest with ourselves on if we're doing it because of the external. And I know I keep stressing this, but it's so, so important with the manifestation process that it is based on internal, what you actually really want to do and not external. And so what I would invite you to do to really hone into this number that you are ending 2024 with is to focus on how much money you've made in your business so far. And it doesn't have to be super specific. It can be sort of in a range. You could say you made 80,000 or you made 110,000 or 200,000 or whatever the range is. This doesn't have to be down to the dollar, but about how much money did you make this year? And then on more of a feeling level, a knowing, internally asking yourself, and this might be more of a quiet response that you're getting. External responses can be very loud. It can be very ego driven. It can be, very based on what you've seen other people do. And, oh, well, that person hit that number, so I'm going to hit that number too. Instead of internally, what is the number that comes through for you? And then once you get that number, then you can set in an overarching number of where you want to go for 2025 and how does that feel to you? And that's really the divine feminine way of doing business. It's more of a feeling, it's more of a flow, it's more of an ease. And yes, it should feel exciting. We want this number that feels expansive and exciting of where we're going, but it shouldn't feel like this heavy bogged down resistance, like how am I going to do this? I have no concept of how I'm going to make this happen. And like I said, it feels very mentally draining. That's how you know that whatever this number is or whatever this goal is that you're setting for your business is an external goal versus internal. And we want to be operating on the internal, especially as we transition into 2025. It's all about internally, what do you want to do? How do you want to present yourself? How do you want to run your business? What does success look like to you? And like I said, it is really empowering and it's amazing to see what's possible when other people in your industry show you what they've done. But again, what they've been able to achieve and the goals and the milestones and the money that they're bringing in is based on their self-concept, their identity, what they believe about those numbers, and really what they truly internally want to do and what they want to hit financially. And if you're just doing it because of what someone else is doing, it's almost like that keeping up with the Joneses kind of mindset. I always like to say keeping up with the Kardashians to keep it like a little more relevant for us. But it's that same sort of thing. It's like, do you actually even want that? Do you care about that? Success looks so different for all of us. For me, it looks like living in Hawaii. It looks like being able to have a really beautiful work-life balance, being with my kids. I have 2 daughters, being able to spend time with them, being able to run my business in a way that makes sense for me, and to really having more of that work-life balance, whatever that looks like. Every day is kind of different. Some days is more business work heavy. Some days is a little bit more flow lifestyle. I can run around and do things that I want. Some days are a little bit more structured, but it's that balance of how I want it to be, how I want my days to be. But that's based on me. Internally, the lifestyle that I want to live, the business that I want to run. Your business is probably going to look completely different, or maybe it's going to look kind of similar and you're wondering how I did it. But it's based on, again, that internal compass, that internal voice. It cannot come from the external. And it's easier said than done because with the online space, we can see what everyone else is doing to an extent. Of course, everyone's showing their highlight reels, but to an extent, we can kind of see, okay, people that share what they're doing, and maybe we're drawn to it, but is that from an external place or is that from an internal place? So it's really important that you ask yourself this. And a powerful exercise that I want to share with you to really help you know internally on if these goals are for you is a powerful practice that I've been using for a couple of years, but I've started really publicly talking about it over the last year, and that's called Dreamwork. And it's essentially, it's an unconventional way to manifest. And I find it very interesting because we talk a lot about manifesting our dreams and we consider ourselves dreamers, but we don't actually use our dreams in our everyday life. And it's such an ancient practice that a lot of our ancestors used. It was very normal to use your dreams to get connection and to have insights and to really make powerful, empowered choices and decisions within your everyday life. But in our modern day society, we don't use it. And so through this DELULU December challenge, I would love to really help guide you through using Dreamwork in your manifestation process. And so essentially what a beautiful way to get started is tonight before you go to bed. I'm all about the night ritual. I know we talk about the morning ritual a lot, but the night ritual, I'm telling you, is so powerful to helping you set up your next day for success. And so tonight before you go to bed, you're already in bed, you've already done your skincare routine, you're in bed, you have your journal. I want you to write out a few questions that you're going to ask yourself. So the first question is going to be, what is the amount of money I internally want to manifest by the end of 2024? And you're just going to write out the question. And then you're going to ask, what are the next steps for me to take to make this goal a reality by the end of 2024? And then the last question is, any additional guidance or insights do I need that I'm not seeing clearly right now? And so you're going to write these 3 questions out before you go to bed. And then in the morning, regardless of if you remembered your dream or not, a lot of us, when we first start this practice, we don't even remember our dreams. It does take time. Now I pretty much remember my dreams every single night. It is fleeting. So it's when you first wake up, you'll remember your dream. And then usually it starts to pass. If you get out of bed and you start doing things, you won't quite remember all the details. So it's important that you do this before you physically get out of bed. You're going to want to just brain dump all the things that came through. And at first it might seem a little like disconnected from the questions, like you're not really seeing the connection. So it does take time. And this is why I'm going to guide you through doing this through the month of December. We're going to keep doing this to help you really strengthen this exercise. But to get started, just brain dump everything that comes through. And then let me know, comment down below, and let me know what comes through for you. The guidance that you can't see yet, the number that you really feel called internally to manifest in your business, and any action steps that you can take. And I'll write out the questions again in the description so you can have them as well. And then, like I said, let me know. Again, it's really about guiding you back to yourself. It's about really releasing what you think you should do in your business and taking it back to what you really truly want to do for your business. So, like I said, let's start with this Dreamwork practice. I'm going to continue to layer onto this as we go through the month of December to really help you manifest the outcomes that you want by the end of the year, the money, honestly, it's really about the identity shift of how do you want to see yourself? What type of entrepreneur do you want to see yourself as? And are you truly identifying as this person now? It really comes down to deciding to be that person now. And if this is something that you are having some challenges with, again, comment down below. Let me know the takeaways. I want to make sure that I'm also curating this to you so that I can help you really manifest big by the end of this year. It's such a powerful, powerful practice. And if you resonate with this even further and you want to work with me going into 2025, I have officially opened up early enrollment for my Manifesting Entrepreneur Mastermind, We start in January. We're going to go for 9 months, so January into September. And then I have my first ever retreat that I'm doing in October of 2025 called Manifest on Maui. And you'll have a special invitation for those of you who join the mastermind to be invited to the retreat. And so I would love to have you. And this is really for those of you who are already entrepreneurial. You already have a business. It could still be a side hustle, but you're not in the idea dreamy stage. You've already created the business and you want to connect with other soulful, heart-centered entrepreneurs. It really is powerful when we do this work together as a collective, when you have other people that resonate with you, because I know for me personally, when I first started going down this path of spiritual entrepreneurship and really getting into manifestation, no one around me really understood. And so it was really powerful for me to connect with other women, other entrepreneurs who understood. And so that's what the mastermind is all about. It's about helping to connect you with other women, other spiritual female entrepreneurs who really get it and who want to take what they're doing to the next level. It's all about taking that foundation and elevating it. So I'd love to connect with you. Another thing that I'm also offering for those of you who really are feeling called to start podcasts, because this has been the most powerful way for me to connect with you. For those of you watching here on YouTube, I'm also recording the audio version of this. So you can listen to this on your favorite podcast app, or you can watch it on YouTube. Both will be linked down below, no matter how you're listening to it. But this has been the most powerful way for me to really connect with you and to really share a lot of powerful insights. And so if you're feeling called, if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, but you're not really sure, I am running deep dives right now. I've been having some really powerful, deep conversations with those of you who are really feeling called to share your voice in this way, share your story. It really helps to activate others in a really meaningful, inspiring way. If you're ready to elevate your brand this way, then you can also book in a call with me. We can talk about where you are within your journey of really getting your voice out there through podcasting. So like I said, let me know the takeaways that you have so far from day one of this manifestation exercise, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for day two. Share this with another entrepreneur who could benefit, and I will chat with you soon.